What up, guys? Welcome back for another top-notch video. In this video, guys, we're going to be talking about credit score. Now, with credit score, guys, it affects every single person out there. So with your credit score, it is very important to try and build that throughout your career, because as you build that credit score, you can slowly but surely get lower interest rates, and overall just it will affect a very broad aspect of your life with trying to get cars, a home loan, tuition, anything you can possibly think of comes through your credit score. Now, I've looked at credit score in a number of different ways and reasons, and there's just no right way to look at a credit score. It can be affected through numerous things, but today we're going to go over some very simple ways to try and get a good handle on your credit score. So on that note, guys, I'm going to go into some things that really affect your credit score. Now, in order to get a good idea of what you can do to build your score, you're going to need some tools. The only tool I suggest, and it's a free tool, is a website called Credit Sesame. Now, with this website, what it does, once you log in, on the home page, the first thing you'll see is it'll display your credit score. And it does this once a month. So as you can see, it was updated as of June 2nd, 2017, and it gives me my credit score, how many points it increased from last month. Okay? And now it goes into some of the major things that affect your credit score. So what I want to show you is the things that really affect your credit score, guys. We're going to go slowly in depth with each one of these. Is payment history, credit usage, credit age, account mix, and credit inquiries. Each one of these has a certain percentage that affects your score. So as you can see with your payment history, it's 35% impact. Credit usage is a 30% impact. Credit age is a 15% impact. Account mix is a 10% impact. And your credit inquiry is a 10% impact to give 100% of your credit score. As you can see, when we go into this website here, the only tab you really need to look into is your finance tab and look at your credit and debt ratio. You don't need to look at anything else. You don't need to buy anything on this website. Simply just make an account and you can go through each one of these. What it does is it goes to your payment history, your credit usage, your credit age, your account mix, and your credit inquiries. And it gives you a score based on each one of these. It also gives you your debt analysis of where your debt is going and shows you trending of where that debt is going. So I'm going to go into my credit tab. And in my credit tab, you can see that my first tab is my payment history. In my payment history, this has a 35% impact on my credit score. And as you can see, I have no negative marks on my credit score. So total accounts with negative marks, 0. It shows you your late payments, collections, foreclosures, and bankruptcies. Okay? And as you can see, I have a very good score, or an A, in this category. The next category is your credit usage, okay? This is very important. So with all of your credit, you're going to get a total credit limit, okay? Across all your credit cards, across all your credit that you are issued, you're going to get a total number. So my total number is $36,000. That's how much credit I am authorized. Now with credit, it's very, very important. This has a 30% impact on your score, that you're using 10% less than your credit utilization ratio. So to give you an idea, if my number was just $1,000 and I spent $300 on a $1,000 limit, that would put me at 30% of my ratio. And if you go anywhere over 10%, guys, that's going to impact your score negatively. Okay? You want to use less than 10% of your available credit. So right now, as you can see, I sit right around 3%. I try to keep it right around 3%, and with this, I try to pay off my credit cards every single month. Now, with keeping a balance of around 3%, that positively impacts my credit score, giving me an A in this category. The suggestion that they say you stay around is about 5 to 7%. I like to keep it a little bit lower, right around 3%. Okay, if you guys have questions about this, you can go ahead and write them in the comments below, and we'll continue. This is very important. This is the one that people tend to really have mistakes with, is they tend to go over on their 10% utilization ratio, okay? So no matter what your total credit limit is, You do not want to succeed that, okay? You want to keep this under 7%. Moving on. Credit age. So as you can see, my oldest open account with my credit age is 3 years and 5 months. My newest open account was 8 months ago. Typically, this has a 15% impact on your credit score. And as you can see, because I opened an account 8 months ago, my overall average of my account is only a year and 10 months old. With an average account age under 2 years, creditors and lenders don't see much history, impacting my score negatively on my credit. So with this, guys, this is really important to understand as well. So this has a little bit less impact on your credit score, but the sooner you can open an account and get history in your account, I would say early 20s, that's when you really, and you got to be responsible, but early 20s is when you really want to open up an account and start building your credit. And now with that, guys, every single account you open is going to lower your average account age. And the big thing that people don't realize is once you have these accounts open, once you have these credit cards open, once you shut them down, it will close that oldest open account, so it will move that account's balance. So if I were to close my oldest open account, so my credit card from 3 years ago and 5 months, I have a number of credit cards, but it would close that basically, and it would move my percentage up, decreasing my average account age. So that's very important to keep in mind. I would highly recommend that you never close a credit card. Maybe stick it away, and if you never want to use it again, lock it up, but don't ever close it because that impacts your credit score by 15%. Again, if you have questions, write them in the comments below. Our next category that has an impact on your score is your account mix. This has a little bit less impact on your score. It's sitting at 10%, but it impacts the different types of accounts you have open. So the less accounts you have open, a more negative impact you'll have on your score. And they have to be in different categories. So like, to give you an idea, I have 5 credit card accounts, but that's all in one category. And by having only 2 accounts open out of 5 different categories, it puts me in a C, or it doesn't affect me too negatively or too positively. So as you can see, I have student loans and credit cards, which the more accounts you have open, the better this affects your score. Now, I don't expect you to have, it's not probably good to have high credit, like I would say very high accounts. I would try to keep them low balances, but have accounts open. And the minute you close an account, so like I'm about to close my student loan account, when I do that, it's going to put me in a lesser category, probably in a D category, because I have not as many accounts. Lenders like to see more variety of accounts to see that you can handle credit better. So that gives you an idea of these different accounts. You have other loans, which is like maybe a personal loan, student loans, auto loan, home loan, and credit cards. So if you're trying to boost your score and you have like a student loan but no credit card, that would be a good way to try and to increase your score. Again, being responsible is the #1 key to all of this. Finally, we have credit inquiries. If you guys, this affects your score about 10%, so keep that in mind. Every time you're going to open up a new credit card or something like that, they're going to do an inquiry on your account, which will affect you 10%. Now, I haven't had an inquiry in a very long time because I've not tried to open up new credit, so I'm sitting currently with an A. So that kind of shows you guys all the different things that go into your credit score and how it affects your credit score, and all these add up to 100%. Now, it's important that you want to try to increase your credit score, but you also need to be responsible. With credit score, they like to see more debt, basically, or more accounts open to increase your score, but that's not necessarily a good thing on you, so you have to do it smartly. So I'll show you that next. Like I said, the only thing you need to use with Credit Sesame are your credit when in your finances, are pretty much your credit and your debt, okay? So now I'm going to go into my debt to kind of see what is, out of those categories, what is impacting my score. So overall, if you go to the first tab, you can see your total debt, okay? And you can see a history of where my debt started. So back in January, I was at $1,000 in debt, and every month it slowly decreased. And then as of June, it's back up to just under $1,000, okay? And over here, you can see a total balance. So overall, I have $935 in credit card debt, or basically I pay my credit cards off monthly, but this was the balance after that I had to pay, in which I paid, and next month it'll reflect that. And then to be smart is what I did is I paid my student loans down to about $10, so I'm not really paying them any interest, and that way it's keeping that second account open. So instead of having like a D in my account, it's giving me a C, so I have a better credit score. Okay, that's the only reason why I keep my student loan account open, is so that I can have a good credit score. And the reason I'm trying to boost my credit score right now is I'm trying to apply for like a loan for a house, and you really want to be over, like, I would say 760 to get that really low interest rate. But moving on, so as you can see, this is my debt every month. And like I mentioned again, with credit cards, I try to pay those off every month. So really, yes, I have a debt balance due, but I don't pay any interest on those because I pay the debt balance off every month. So moving into my first category, as you can see, here is my credit card balance every month up until this month here. And it's I pay them off every month, and here are all 5 of my accounts. That's what I really like about Credit Sesame, is it shows me every credit card that I have, my balances, my monthly minimum payments for each one of these, my APR, my credit limits. Okay? And again, this is how I have such a high credit limit, is because I have so many credit cards that boost my score. If you all add them up together, it's about 30,000 or so. Moving on, my next category is student loans. As you can see, when I got out of school in January, I had student loans of $860, and I've slowly been making payments until June, and I did not pay that off because I want to keep my credit score high, and I'll probably continue to leave it like that until they make me pay it off. The next category is home loans. I don't have any home loans. Next category is auto loans, and the last category is other loans. So this gives you a really good tool to monitor your debt and overall see what you can do to basically try to eliminate debt or try to raise your score. It's just a tool, guys, and it's free. I would definitely suggest doing this, and by doing it, you can really, like, if you had 2 credit cards and one was a higher interest rate than the other, you could see that on this website. And again, this website's free. And I really suggest it. Once again, this is Top Notch, and this was another Top Notch video. Really hope you guys subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.